You're having a very good Friday. And of course, today is the 20, what, second? Yes. It's again that rapid going down to the December. But anyway, we didn't come here to talk about December, did we? And August, we came here to talk about a different world and to see if I could continue to encourage you as you encourage me to enjoy my days here at my home and to see how best I could continue to work beautifully. But alas, we are getting out. And last Tuesday we talked about the the example, and I showed both analogy of the plant and how it grows and how it takes phases, just as how when one reads the scriptures, with how God recreated the heavens and the earth, and He took 6 days. We talked about that, and I think that was quite inspiring for me in terms of how I was able to interpret the move from phase one to phase two to phase three. And I'm talking about that in my local country. I have had the privilege of seeing other countries with their openings and how they have been building, and some of the very much more stringent and controlled. I think we in our country here is has quite some liberal uh, experiences. We are going to have one. I think the government here has been very lax, and I trust that the other nations who are going out, some of them are going further on, some of them are almost having malls open, and some of them have malls open, some of them already have barbering shops and hairdressers. We haven't had that stage yet. We have not even had our governmental offices open yet, so we're taking our time. But nevertheless, there is much more activity out there. Today, or rather yesterday, another phase was open, so that the construction field is fully, free, and they're going down the road, and everybody's fine. So that it's getting back out there. But what does that really mean to what I had before for the last 9 weeks? I'm in my ninth week here. What is it that I had that I'm not going to have to lose? Some of us had different sleep times and eating times, and so we were out there, uh, wandering. I'm sorry, we were in here, seeing how we get to where we want to. We watch the television shows till late at night. We play games. There was no control of time around us at all, except for those who had a lot of meetings on Zoom and other platforms, and some people who were still teaching and had classes. But outside of that, there was a what we would call a free willy, what we call just do whatever you feel to do when you feel to do, and that's something that we didn't have before. For some people, it was it was kind of a bit of nostalgia. For me, I really missed that scheduling of my day into the clients, and I think I kind of got lost a bit, except when you knew that at this hour. So you're accustomed to having something at a particular hour. You're there accustomed knowing that it's this time of day and not that time. The laxity was there, and then you had to make your timetable, so to speak, of this. Well, you had to do things according to how your brain went and how your emotions went. But now we're going back into that regime where it is told to us and it is given to us the time and space. And there's therefore that there's going to be have the recalibrating again of that little brain. So with all those sensations and perceptions we have, what are we hearing? Are we ready to go back out to hear "Don't Come Go" in a more count with just maybe an open sphere? We had that from the government who said "Don't." That was one voice, but in our homes we had our own voices. Our don'ts and don't do is to really control the noise levels and the attitudes and behaviors within the home. We trusted how we would live with our spouses and family members and children, and of course neighbors too, who were there and not there because nobody really wanted to talk to you over the fence. As a matter of fact, we were not allowed to talk to people over the fence. But now we can go over the fence and talk a bit. We can come out of our gates. There's much more activity. there. So therefore, the time span is relaxed. How do we work that? And I want to share a little more about that. This concept of time and space. How are we re-entering? I thought of the child who is freewheeling from zero age and going all the way up to, let's say, 2.5, and all of a sudden there's no more freewheeling. The child is put into a kindergarten, and the child has to abide with this new structure. So I can't just jump off and go where I want. I can't do what I want when I want. I can't fall asleep when I want. I can't cry and say I want something to eat right now. No, I can't. I have to continue working out that salvation as a child. And I'm using that context here. But by the time I reached secondary school, well, wow, Jesus, did I say it right? I know some of you are like saying, oh my Lord. Yes, it was a timetabling. It was where to go, where not to go, the whistles, the bells, which corridor you could walk down, which steps you could use, how to do it, how to be careful, the cafeterias. Oh my goodness! So we kind of was groomed coming up from a very, very early age, how to work out these timetables, how to work out these regimes that had our lives structured. And for some of us, it was impacted more in our homes, with our parents. When we came back home, we still had those regimes. Don't go outside, stay inside, do your homework, it's time to eat, it's time to bathe, it's time to study, it's time to go to bed. Wow. And here comes COVID-19, where they didn't seem to have a time for anything, except when we felt like it. Who felt like it? But before that, it was that regime. So for some of us, we've grown for years with that. For some of us, it may be less. It could be 5. They're still churning around. There's some of us who are like myself, done that, been there, left it, and still can't stop it. Because you're so accustomed. And so that we have these memories of our past that puts us into these episodic regimes, that we have to work off these episodes very keenly and very kindly, but yet it's there, it's working for us, it's working out of us, and it's working tremendously well. So tell me, how are we going to employ within our own selves methodologies that's going to help us now when we have come out of that into this regime, and are we going back in? Now, tell me something. I'm sure you realize how the brain has worked within those 8 weeks for some of us now. That it is, wow, we have been captured. We have been changed. And it's already feeling funny to go back out there to say, hey, I have to get up now. I have to get up now at 6 to get up to the house for 8. No, I haven't got up at 6. And if I did get up at 6, I didn't rush out of the house. And now I have to rush. Now I have to go back to that traffic. Maybe not as much, but I still have to go back. I have to do things as it were. But do you realize it would not be as exactly as it were? There is going to be a difference. One, we are still going to have to work out the protocols. So you're going to be dressed differently. The culture is going to be provoking you more to that self-consciousness. So that kind of release, that excited release of greeting people and going out there and wondering how I could let's go for lunch. We now have to pull back. So I'm just mentioning that point. So this is just a matter that we have to rethink. Because I can't go out there and shake and hug as I used to, or I can't sit and eat as I used to. I have to remember their protocols. I still have to keep my hands on, my social distancing, my mask on. I still have to sanitize a lot. So that there is going to be an added job, could I say that? Added duty, a chore that I didn't expect, and I still now have to do that. My brain has to recalibrate that. I just can't jump in a taxi anymore. So there's a lot of can'ts. You could identify your list. You know your list. I'm here working the principles with you today. There is going to be a change, and your brain has to rethink that now. What does that mean to me? Is it going to make me somebody that I don't want to be? And let's talk about the personality here. Is it something I do not want to be? Do I really want to be that private and that personal? How is my caring going to be measured? Is it going to be measured at all? would I be able to work out my altruism and my empathy that I am? I am that kind of caring person. How do I now care differently? So there are also things I'm saying. I am saying a lot, but I'm saying it to give you a general context. So if I pull back a little bit here, let's take now the timetabling in terms of how I share my space. Let's take that for just for what it is. And if we finish that today, we can go on to something else when we meet again on Tuesday. So tell me, how am I going to work out the time and space? How am I going to discover that I can do what I am doing, but I have to do it in less time? Therefore, will I accomplish what I have set out to? So the anxieties that I would have had before today, maybe, as I said, 2 months plus ago, in rushing to do something, I am seeing the volume is still there, but now I have less time for that volume. Am I going to be more anxious to achieve? Am I going to be much more aggressive in achieving? So therefore, is my personality changing? Can I handle a new me? So it's not just a new normal, it's a new me. Before I would be rushing, let's say, if I had to pack 4 boxes of books or files in a cabinet, I can see myself taking, let's say, I will take 3 hours to do that. Let's go with the time. Now, I still have the boxes, but I don't have the 3 hours because I work in less hours. So am I willing to put some of those boxes for other time? That's not me. I get the job done. There's something else to do. Yes, but now I have less time. I may even have less space. Or for some of us, we will have more space because there will be less people around you. How do I work that? So am I then willing to see that I am going to have to put my brain into a different category of how I do things? When I go to the grocery store, before I will go, the only line I had was the line of the cashier. And if I saw the lines along the cashier, I would not go to the cashier. I would not even go in. But now, to go in, there was a line. How did I work that? Because that line made me have less time in shopping because I had to get back home. So that the times curtail the kind of energies and the perspectives in which I do things. And that was just the grocery. And I kind of worked that because I had to buy these things. Now, having to go to work, or having to have to go back to my job, or having to have to go back out to do things that I was not able to do, I still have to see that I have to work out a time structure. You know, I've been to the gas station twice recently. Wow. No time at all. There are no lines because there's hardly anybody. So in that context, the gas stations will have less people because there are less people on the road. But now, what about the masses who all going in the same direction that you are in terms of going to the particular office or within a particular area? We will still have less again. So I'm not going to see that hustle and bustle, but I myself may have that hustle and bustle. So within you, you may still have the anxiety to perform in terms of how you used to perform with that kind of alacrity and intensity. But now within my space, there's much more space in terms of how I breathe, so I can feel more relaxed. By now you would say, wow, this could be a little confusing. It can be, but it need not be if I begin to see the process for the progress. So I have to learn how to process it without that anxiety, without that kind of aggression, and just listen to how I would love to feel and go from there. I trust that is giving you a sense of equilibrium. It has its own measures for crisis, but it's important for me to have an intrapersonal context where I could be with myself before I could have that interpersonal context with others. So I am going to have to remember that for some of us in our jobs, we're going to have less contact with people. We're going to have less things to do with less time. For some of us, that is mind-boggling. I'm wasting time. I thought, hold on. We have to breathe. Maybe it will be good for some of us. Our blood pressure will be a little more normal. For some of us, so we have to work out that. When I see myself doing that, it is engaging a personality. And I am saying that over. I don't know if you're hearing me, but I am stressing very, very subtly that we are changing personalities. Therefore, my very being, my very outlook is going to be different. And that is the issue. With all that I've been saying, I've been putting in these little gaps here and there. But the issue is the very fundamental, what we call the presenting problem, is the change of behavior. Are we ready for that? Is it something that I will want to engage in, that difference with my personality? That I am now going to behave as if, ooh, who is going to know me? Am I comfortable with it? Yes, we have to. So that we can talk about the change publicly, we could talk about change internationally, but it has to start with me. So for me to get change out there, change has to start here. Isn't that something? I am not going out there to find a change. No, I have to make the change for me. And that is going to be something that we have to work with as a public, as a person. So from the intro to the inter, from working with me to working with you, there is going to be that consciousness that there must be a change. Yes, I pause for cause. I pause to make sure you could breathe that in and work that in. It is something essential for us. Let me pause here to say that there are many times in our past when people would have encouraged us for change, when in terms of our own dynamics. For some of us, it may be a new job. For some of us, maybe a new marital status. It may be a new community status, but something new. And somebody said to you, you have to do things differently now. As one person, oh yes. We tried with you. You were asked to behave differently because you have a new job. There's new protocols. You must dress differently, speak differently. The job demands it. Not me. Hey, but you're married. Don't go here. You can't do that again. You have to be much more compromising. You have to share more, talk more. Oh gosh, we just love each other. We get along. We abide. We avoid. So for some people who say they have adapted a new belief system and now they were told not to do this and not to do that or go here. Oh my goodness, it's hard. So therefore, what's happening now in 2020 with this COVID-19? The principles have been there all the time. We have always been asked to do things differently. We've always been asked to recalibrate. But we have taken advantage of the fact that it was not as impactful. And that's why the word international is so important for that context of impact. And so therefore, again, now that it's there and everybody throughout the world has a little paragraph, it's become very important and very, very, very in your face. And now there's that worry, can I? Yes, you can. The thing about it is that you used to say, I can't. You used to refuse to. You was your own man, your own woman. But now, for the sake of a public, for the sake of the safety of a national future, we have to learn to change. We have to learn to do things differently. Our public and understand that there is a reward. Not just for you, but for the masses. So, am I going to suggest that we won't be selfish anymore? Am I going to suggest that we are going to do things that is going to be more embracing? Am I going to say that this could be a very good example of altruism? That yes, I am sharing myself for the world, or I'm sharing myself for my little nation. I am able to change. So let's see if we can put those things into practice. Let's see if we can begin to see ourselves being not sidelined by the talk or the arrogance of people's interpretation of self and self-preservation. No, it's about the very sharing of self that is preserving others. Remember, preserving myself by myself, with myself, for myself is quite impossible. Because we always have need of something else or of another in order to perform a function. So therefore, again, in this scenario, we have to learn that it's all about connectivity. The connectivity we must have, therefore, is the prevention of the spread of the virus that we are looking at as we work out the protocols for the next coming weeks. So let's enjoy the change. Let's enjoy the movement forward. Let's enjoy the new phases that are presented in your countries, in your islands. But let's recognize the difference is not for me only. The difference I am involved with, I am a foundational, pivotal personality here. That I am taking that change from me out. That change is going out. That change is establishing a forwardness. So I am the progenitor. I'm not looking for the government as the base. I'm not looking at the larger community, the business community, the public. No, I am looking right here in my home where I live with my family as an individual who is going out there to invest in other lives. And therefore, I am important for that. So let's see if this could help you one more time. Let's see if this could make you smile and be at rest, remembering that it starts with me and I'm taking that through my gate into the streets, into the towns, into the cities. And there is going to be once I am safe, all will be safe. So let's remember that we've always had opportunities for new protocols, changes that we've gone through in our lives. So therefore this one is really another one, not just a different, it's another one. You remember that we all have our shifts in terms of how we did things and why we're doing it. And we've been put into a place where we had no control. Now we're getting more control. Let's see how best we use that to the advantage of somebody else. And let's see how best we can reclimatize in terms of giving our nation what it needs and giving our home the benefit of more social construct, more social interaction. So in this coming week, continue to do well, continue to overcome well, and continue to breathe. One more thing, please, let's learn how to be willing to share the experiences. Let's not be silent, but let's build together and let's invest together. So I bid you farewell. I bid you adieu, and I pray that you will continue to rise and let the joy that is within you come out with much laughter. So be hilarious, be excitable, and let's make our countries worth living. So long, au revoir.